master that. So we are going to get that wisdom from Herman Shastri. A slice of it. We are not going to hear all of that. And Kim, I understand, is there are several meanings, and one meaning is royalty, coming from royalty. So we can't ask more than a scholar and a royal addressing us. Of course, they will not give the entire picture of it, but slice of it. So we'll enjoy that session. So, Cliff, will you want to?
After that, I don't have much to add, but I would like to introduce you to Herman Shastri, whom I have known in the ecumenical movement and leadership of the Faith and Order Commission, and through very good leadership in the Council of Churches of Malaysia. And I would also affirm that he is a learned one. So we are a learned one. We are glad to have you with us and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very, very much. And I was told that I have to keep it short, and I tend to keep it short because I think this is the tail end of your time together, and there are many questions perhaps that you have now kept in your heart, having this rich experience in this assembly. So I have a watch that is called a pastor's watch. It vibrates after 20 minutes, and then I know it's time to stop. So let me now turn it on.
Tell us where you can buy it.
Okay, let me begin with my lecture is on the internet. I think it's been sent to you, so you can read that. And when I was invited, it was very difficult to conceptualize what nature the presentation would take. But I thought, since you're all theological students, what was important was resources that you can draw upon, and this is just a brief reflection of some of the materials that have come to the fore in the life of the Assembly of the World Council of Churches, but of course you can take it further, and of course the theme is unity. Let me begin with an image, and the image is of course the boat, and you know in the ecumenical movement you have a boat or a ship. And if we take it out from the Bible, then of course one of the significant symbols of a boat would be Noah's Ark. And I remember one very wise theologian when I was young who said these words in a lecture. Okay, so don't speak English like an Indian, so go slowly. But then it's only 10 minutes, you know. Okay, so Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark, and you know that in the Bible, and this one teacher had impressed upon me, or he had shared in one lecture. It's staying with me over the years. And this is what he said about Noah's Ark. Can you imagine the animals that had to live together in that ark? It would have been impossible, I mean, mind-boggling, to say the least, that there would have been peace in that boat. But the point is, if not for the storm outside, they would not want to be inside in that one boat. And I want to offer to you this image, and I think it's the same thing in the World Council of Churches, and the variety of churches that we bring together, and the tremendous experiences of the people of God from different parts of the world. And usually, the things that are holding us together is what we are experiencing outside. What we are experiencing inside is what we would term as unity. And so the title that was given to me is Unity of the Church in a Changing Ecclesial Landscape in World Christianity. Now I shall do this by drawing on some of the resources that have come to the fore in the recent years. But in my presentation, I want to make one point clear, right from the beginning. I am of the firm conviction, through the experience that has been offered to me in my walk through the ecumenical movement and my association in my own context with the Council of Churches of my country, that the search for unity in the ecumenical sense calls for cross-bearing mutual solidarity. Cross-bearing mutual solidarity among Christians and others in order to serve God's renewal work. Now, language is a real problem in the ecumenical movement. We all use those words. We think we are on the same page. We think we understand each other. But when you begin to scratch the surface, you would find that many of the accent that we give to the words is colored, informed, influenced by the context that we come from. And I believe that there's one form of language that excites this search for unity, and that is this cross-bearing mutual solidarity. The first point I want to draw your attention to is that in 1991, there was a book written by he was not yet the General Secretary of the World Council of Churches, the former General Secretary, Konrad Reiser. And the book is called Ecumenism in Transition. I would encourage you to read that book. And in fact, I've had conversations with him in regard to what I was saying here too, and explored with him whether some of the points that he had raised in that book is finding its fulfillment in our day and time. But that you have heard Konrad Reiser, so you can come to a conclusion about whether some of the prognosis and some of the analysis he did of ecumenism in transition has met some of the expectations. He raised a relevant question. Can the vision that was guided the ecumenical movement through its history be reaffirmed? Or do we need to re-articulate the vision in fresh ways to appeal to a new global context? What are the fundamental core values that should shape the common witness of churches in their search for unity? And in that book, he had raised two questions which constantly comes onto the table in heated debate when we are talking about unity. The question of ecclesiology, and secondly, the question about the broadening of the ecumenical horizon beyond the Christian community to the whole of humankind. Okay, so one question is ecclesiology, and secondly, the broadening of the ecumenical horizon beyond the Christian community to the whole of humankind. I was part of a study in this last term of the assembly period, where we had a committee that was called Ecumenism in the 21st Century. And so if you're talking about landscape of the ecumenical movement, that would be an important report to read. And in my notes I've given you much more details, but the points that we have come to a conclusion in the formal report that has gone to the Central Committee, we stated these points: that the center of gravity of Christianity has moved to the south. You've heard it. The globalization and opening up of the world also brings injustice, fragmentation, and fundamentalism. Well, you've picked up notions of it. ecumenism is in crisis or in transition, and these two elements are usually intertwined. Maybe you did not hear this that much, and if you heard this morning's plenary, everything is fine. In the name of the triune God, we are all united, and somehow we are all taken up by this grand vision of unity. But this is the point, one of the points that our committee came to a conclusion. And the third and the last, there were four, so center of gravity, globalization, ecumenism is in crisis, and the fourth, religions can foster war or peace. Therefore, for peace to exist among nations, peace among religions is necessary. So the ecumenical movement, this committee came to a conclusion, is to deepen the fellowship among its participants and broaden the participation in order to facilitate greater coherence. And the basis upon which this is done is to invoke this notion of koinonia reflected in our understanding of the Trinity. I'm going to go fast. So the next point I want to take up, of course, maybe I have to say this. What is crucial as we take note of the changing landscape is the abiding and enduring affirmation on the conciliar. I'm sure you have heard of that word.